Well, what is the crack? Welcome to Absolutely Marinated, a show where I cook some things, have a few cans, well, usually have a few cans and tell you about it. Now, I'm not having a few cans because I had too many cans last night and I'm dying with a hangover. But what I'm going to make today is a Tayto Sandwich, considering today is a certain holiday on the 20th of the 4th month. And anyways, it's time for a bit of junk food, a bit of shite. So I said I'd make a Tayto Sandwich. Now, the Tayto Sandwich is a bit of an indigenous dish, if you could call it that, to Ireland. Sort of a college staple kind of job. And I mean, you could buy a little store-bought bread, but here in the States I find it's queer sweet. All the fucking sandwich pans, lads, it's about 20 freaking... It's awful sweet, long story short. So I said, feck it, I'd make my own bread. So basically, into a bowl, all I have done is harshed in 700 grams of all-purpose flour. I mean, I think it's probably best if you use bread flour, but all I have is all-purpose because we're locked down and every place is sold out of flour. On top of that, you want to throw in 11 grams of yeast, and I threw in about 15 to 20 grams of sugar. Most recipes I've seen call for about 50 to 60 grams, which is just ridiculous. All you need is a little bit to keep your yeast fed. Yeast, that's it. Jeez, my head is absolutely banging, lads. Anyways, once you've all your dry ingredients in, to start pouring a bit of milk. It's about 700 or 500 grams of milk, I believe. What I did there is not cold as well. You want it kind of warm, so I just threw it into a mug and into a microwave for about 30 seconds just to warm up. Then I'm lucky enough to say I have a stand mixer, so just throw them all in and give it a whisk to combine kind of slow for about a minute or two till it all comes together. At which point then you'll get about, I think it was 400 grams of butter. I'll throw the amounts in the description below. I melted some butter into the dough, a bit too melted, so I had to work it in by hand. But just let that go. Then once all your ingredients are in, mix it for about for about 8 to 9 minutes on like 2 or 3 on your stand mixer. And after kneading for 8 or 9 minutes, you'll end up with something that looks like this. You kind of want to work it into a nice little balling for yourself just to help it proof. Throw a towel over it, dry towel over it. Throw it somewhere nice and warm, around 80 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, and just leave it for an hour or so, or till it's doubled in size. You'll end up with something like this, and that's your first proof done. Now onto the second part of the proofing process. There now you see a high-walled baking tin. It's 13 inches by 4 inches by 4 inches, I believe, and it's called a Pullman bread pan. You can get them fairly handily on Amazon or anywhere else. It's just basically a bread pan with a lid. So what we will do is take our dough out onto a floured board so it doesn't stick, round it into a sort of an even shape, and then you take a really sharp knife and you split it into 4. Oh, good lord, my head. I need some help. I probably should get back on it again. Anyways, take your dough and roll it out fairly thin, about maybe 5 mil or 1/16 of an inch, whatever it's called, I don't know. As you can see, I don't have a rolling pin. What I did have was a water flask that I won from my last rental accommodation property manager jobs. Shout out to Pizzuto for ripping me off, charging me $2,000 a month in rent. But joke's on you, lads, I now have a water bottle / rolling pin. Once she's all rolled out, you basically want to kind of fold her into thirds, like that, and then just roll it down the middle. Now, you do that with each of the 4 pieces of your dough. You just kind of keep it tight, and once it's all done, you kind of pinch your seams together and arrange them side by side in the bread tin. So you put your lid on and put it for your second proof. Now, what the lid allows it to do, lads, is when it's proofing and baking, it kind of keeps everything nice and dense and chewy, which is exactly what you want in your sandwich pan. After about 20 minutes or so, you'll see your dough will have risen or proofed for the second time. You kind of, because I use all-purpose flour, I kind of brought it up a bit closer. You can see it a bit sticking. But if you're using bread flour, make sure to leave a good ½ inch, because the proteins in the bread flour will allow it to rise a lot more rapidly in the baking process, whereas all-purpose flour doesn't have as many proteins in it, so it's not as aggressive on the rise, lads. So as you can see there, my dough has come pretty much up to the top of the tin, so I want to just throw a little bit of flour on that and on the top of the tin, so when it's baking it doesn't stick to the top of it. Once you put your lid on, throw it into an oven. Preheat your oven first off, lads, obviously, 350 Fahrenheit for about, I think it was 30 minutes the first thing. While you're waiting for that, take your butter out and make sure it's nice and soft and spreadable. And after your 30 minutes or so, 30 to 40 minutes depending on your oven, as long as you see that golden crusty colour, you're sound. One crucial part of the bread making process, lads, is that when you're turning your bread out of a lightning hot bread pan, it's essential that you burn as many fingers as you can. It helps in the flavour development, as you will see here. And speaking of temperatures, let your pan of loaf come down to room temperature, or just a bit above it on a wire rack, and then you're ready to start slicing in. What the cooling down process does is allows it to relax, and as you can see there, you form that nice crumb that you want. And now that that's all out of the way, we're here for the most crucial part, the assembly of your Tayto sandwich. First things first is take your bread and your soft butter, give it a good slathering of butter on both sides of the breads. After that, you bring in your Tayto, pile it up good and high. I think there's a 40-gram bag there. I put at least 30 to 35 grams of crisps on it. That way you have a nice crunch when you bite into the sandwich, and you have other crisps left over to kind of pick on while you're at it, you know. It's always nice. Put your lid on. The most important step, in my opinion, is when you do that, is to give it a firm push down, like that. That's the job. Get them all kind of condensed in there. And always, lads, always slice your Tayto sandwiches on the diagonal. If you slice it the other way, can't be hanging out. Anyways, that's pretty much it, lads. That is a Tayto sandwich for all those people that are interested in how to make a Tayto sandwich with a Pullman Loaf-pan. If you like this, lads, give it an old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and a very happy 420 to everybody out there. Good luck.